Right. Hi guys. Little bit of a long time. Haven't really stacked too seriously since I got since about Worlds / North Carolina / doubles fast on the web. But yeah, I've been kind of stacking and prepping for the Junior Olympics, just kind of casual, trying to go into juniors with a relaxed mindset this time because more often than not, I have been pretty much grinding for the Junior Olympics every summer since I was 11 and getting pretty crappy results in terms of individual times. Hence the fact why I didn't make 363 finals last year. But bygones be bygones. But anyway, I wanted to make this little informal PSA for all of you, especially since Junior Olympics is right around the corner. I wanted to kind of give like a little bit of my mindset on how one should stop the timer. So, over the past, actually, probably about a year, since juniors last year, the WSSA has employed new administration that have definitely done more, have called more stricter times out for stopping the timer incorrectly, or starting the timer incorrectly, or stopping with your wrists, and so on and so forth. And I have seen many fast stackers try and perfect their stop by using a flat hand stop. And more often than not, I find myself trying to use that method as well, but getting very dismal results. And often I would play my times back in slow motion, and would often find that they would be scratches because I would be touching the cups, or at least I think they would be. They'd be touching the cups, and it's just kind of a pain, and they would slow my times down quite a bit. However, I have found it's not a new way, but I've been trying to develop my muscle memory in stopping the timer and starting the timer for that matter with an open hand as opposed to a flat one, because this is just something that fits me. And I know a lot of people can stop a timer flat and do it very well, like Liam and Peter and Lee and people like that who have perfected that to a T. But for me, I find myself struggling with it quite a bit, especially if my stacking surface isn't steady. So like in North Carolina, and in pretty much any scenario where a tournament in the US has like bouncy tables, I've often found that stopping the timer results in me actually holding it to try and keep it up, because if I stop flat, it's more likely than not that the bounce that table provides will give me a higher probability of knocking a stack over. And a big example of that was Cowtown last year, and I pretty much slowed it down. I was just like, yeah, this definitely would not have been clean anyway if the 6 didn't fall. But that's because I held the 3 pretty much intact. So anyway, over the past few months, I've been trying to develop this style of stopping the timer with an open hand and making sure it doesn't touch my wrist. And I have found that this method has kept my times pretty much more solid than they have been before. As opposed to taking the extra time to stop the timer flat, I often find that stopping with an open hand away from the cups and ensuring that they aren't touching the cups is what I have found to be a solid method. Now, don't get me wrong, like I will use a flat hand stop if I feel really confident that it would work, but in reality, I just didn't think I don't want to risk doing a flat hand stop as opposed to an open hand stop, because, like I said, the WSSA, like let's say I break a state record, and because Jordan Newman hasn't beaten all of my times yet, pretty much any time I get will be a record of some sort for my state, so any time I get will be reviewed. When I stop the timer with a flat hand, it just makes them kind of ponder for a while, and I can say it's clean, and I can, say it on social media that it's clean, but in reality, if the WSSA just says, oh, this is a scratch, because they don't really give you much of an explanation other than you stopped the timer incorrectly. It's more of like, okay, this is what you did, but we're not going to give you an explanation. And I found that quite maddening for some calls, not my own, because I have been lucky enough to not have anything scratched by the WSSA in terms of an individual standpoint. But I know I've known and seen many others who have had their time scratched, and I could not for the life of me figure out why. But anyway, that's not important. So anyway, going back to what I've been trying to develop with my muscle memory over the past few months, stopping with an open hand and ensuring that you aren't touching the cups. First of all, the transition's just better. Like when you down stack the last three, you often find yourself ending in this position, and taking the time to try and stop that flat just, in my opinion, wastes time. But if you stop it with an open hand, you're going straight from that down stack to stopping the timer, which puts my times at a solid standpoint. And I've found, especially with my kind of rough 363 down stack style, that it is much easier to do that than as opposed to trying to take the time and stop with a flat hand. This isn't trying to go against anybody or try and like say, oh, you need to do this if you don't want the WSSA to scratch your times. That's not true. We have seen many people like Peter, who stopped with the flat hand, have many times successfully gone through the WSSA review and have it come out a clean run. This is just something that I have found, that in case there's somebody like me out there on the interwebs that like cannot stop a hand, cannot flat stop, save their life, this is just kind of a little piece of advice for you. And also for cycle, this really isn't a problem for me. I've never had a problem with cycle stops, but except in 2011. But I've found that in 333 and 363, this is the most prevalent. Like I said, this isn't meant to cause any offense to anybody. This is just a little tip from somebody who's been competing for a long time and has performed some fast times in competition that have caused consensus, but they have gone through, and I have just found that this method of stopping with an open hand as opposed to a flat hand will make your times faster and will ensure that your times won't be scratched and won't cause any consensus. Because if you stop with an open hand, you have no contact with the cups, you have less frames in which because obviously you have to be in contact with the cups when you down stack, and then when you release them, it's very clear that you are not stopping the timer and holding the cups at all, as opposed to a flat hand where you could be touching them. You could be. Like I said, there are people who have perfected these stops like excellently, and I commend all of them for that. But I've just found that stopping the timer like this is a much more effective method to ensure that my stops don't cause any consensus and they can just be called clean right away, because they don't have anything, no evidence to scratch me with, because there's no frames that can cause any consensus, no contact with the cups. I just have it like this, perfectly aligned. And right after I finish this little talk, I'm going to be showing some slow motion clips that I recorded with my phone to try and illustrate what I mean by my stopping positions. So, like I said, this is just my opinion on things. This is just the way I'm probably going to be stopping the timer in tournaments from now on. So, yeah, this will be probably my last video before I head to Greensboro next week. This is not my typical house. I'm in a hotel in Miami at the moment. But anyway, this is just kind of my opinion on stopping the timer and how I think it could be the most effective method to stopping the timer as opposed to a flat stop. Like I said, I could be completely wrong about my mindset about how it wastes time stopping with a flat hand or something like that, but this is just my opinion, so please don't take any offense. This is just something that I've been thinking about, and I've wanted to post this video, especially with the upcoming Junior Olympics in mind. So yeah, right after this, you will see those slow motion clips of me doing a 333 and a 363, and I will see you guys at the Junior Olympics. See ya.